Hey guys, Byron here. Been a hectic few weeks on the road on behalf of RosterWatch Nation. RosterWatch has officially visited 10 different teams during the training camp tour for you guys. 9 different stops. We did get that joint practice in Tampa with the Dolphins and the Buccaneers, kind of a 2-for-1, but really busy week on the road and wasn't able to get a Raiders recap to you guys, so I thought we'd have a little talk right now about what I saw out in Las Vegas at Raiders camp. First and foremost, just pristine, brand new facility there in Las Vegas, training facility. Really blown away with how just beautiful it was. But I know y'all are tuning in to talk football and specifically fantasy. So let's see what I learned at Raiders training camp. First thing I learned is Devonte Adams. We all know that Derek Carr was his college football quarterback at Fresno State. What I didn't know is that Devonte Adams has had a house in Vegas for a few years now, and he's been throwing with Derek Carr in the off seasons. So those guys really do have recent built-in chemistry in the passing game. I thought that really showed up at practice. I mean, it wasn't quite a Cooper Kupp level performance at camp practice. Not that Adams didn't look amazing. It's just I've never seen an offense run through a wide receiver like it did at Rams camp with Cooper Kupp. That said, I was very impressed with Devonte Adams and what the Raiders have in store for him. I mean, they paid the big bucks to bring this guy in. He's going to get a boatload of targets. He's so slick. He's so slick out there. Just looked absolutely incredible. And you know, it's enough. I've seen Tyreek Hill at camp. I've seen CeeDee Lamb at camp, all guys that we like and we're interested in. But what I saw out of Adams was much closer to what I saw out of Cooper Kupp than what I saw out of Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb. So for me, Devonte Adams has leapfrogged those guys on the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet at rosterwatch.com. He belongs in the top 4 receivers in fantasy to be drafted. If you told me he was going to end up wide receiver 1 this season, I certainly wouldn't be surprised. And if you told me you wanted to take him over a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson, I mean, you'd probably get a lot of pushback from a lot of people in the industry, but I wouldn't really have a problem with that. I mean, that's really where he belongs this season. So very, very happy with what I saw out of Devonte Adams. Super bullish there. I think the good news is that behind Adams and Hunter Renfrow, it's really quite an unremarkable receiving core. They just released Demarcus Robinson. I think Keelan Cole may be the veteran that's in line for the number 3 spot there. And what does this mean? I believe it means that even though we like Adams, there's still plenty of room to be interested in Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller as the number 2 and 3 pass catching options in that offense. If you miss on Adams earlier or just decide to pass, you know, one reason that I might not go 100% exposure on Adams is because I do like the mid to later round value on Hunter Renfrow. He's clearly going to be a fixture of the passing offense. He looks awesome. He's always open. And I think the thing that really struck me is that we should keep in mind how much Josh McDaniels has featured these slot type receivers in his offenses in the past. If that carries over into Las Vegas, which I believe it will, Hunter Renfrow should have a repeat of another nice season. I actually think he has even more upside than we've seen in the past. And then, of course, Darren Waller has missed a lot of training camp, but all indications are he's in line to be fine for the season, which means, you know, he's probably going to be the number 2, maybe number 3 target on the team, which I think puts him in position to return plenty of value in fantasy and still have pretty good upside. And some people might say, well, you know, how is there enough to go around for all these guys? Well, like I said, it's an unremarkable group behind him. So those three guys could soak up the majority of the targets, and that's going to result in each of them getting a lot of volume. I mean, if you do the math, they can all come out a winner like that. And then, you know, let's turn to the backfield. Speaking of things that Josh McDaniels has done in the past and brought to Las Vegas, is I think he's going to implement his running back by committee that we've seen and has served him so well in New England. We had Josh Jacobs, we had Kenyon Drake, we had Zamir White. We also have Amir Abdullah, and we have Brandon Bolden, former Patriots, thorn in our fantasy sides for so many years up there. And It makes me think that Bolden, pretty good chance of making the team, unless, of course, McDaniels just wanted a veteran in the camp to help teach the other guys the offense. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bolden makes a team. Amir Abdullah, very good shot at making the team because he is going to contribute on special teams. What does that mean? Are they going to keep 5 running backs? Probably not. The whispers are there's a pretty good chance that Kenyon Drake gets traded or maybe even cut. I'd have to look at the salary cap ramifications of that. But it's pretty clear to me when I was at camp that Zamir White and Kenyon Drake were running pretty much dead even in practice. And the practice I took in, I actually felt like Zamir White was being featured more often and certainly looked like the better all-around player than Drake at this point. And then, of course, Josh Jacobs, he's in a contract year, so maybe unsurprisingly, he looked amazing. That's what's going to be tough to reconcile here. I left Cowboys camp pretty impressed with Zeke and where he's at in his rebound this year, kind of from the knee situation, and I feel like he looks refreshed and was really impressed. Guys, I got to tell you, Josh Jacobs looked every bit as good, if not, I don't want to say better, but let's call it a bit as good as Zeke. And what really stood out to me about Jacobs is he looked explosive, a guy that's not known for his big-time speed. Looked really, really explosive. He was awesome in the passing game, which we saw at Alabama. It's been a real head-scratcher how he hasn't gotten more involved as a pass catcher earlier in his career. Maybe we could chalk that up to Gruden and Mayock. It sounds like there was just Josh Jacobs wasn't quite always on the same page. So we'll see if that situation improves itself. He certainly did look good in camp, so it's a tough nut to crack. You're like, wait a second, Josh Jacobs looks amazing. He looks like a stud out there. He's clearly their number one. So how do we reconcile that with the fact that this really could be a running back by committee? I think it makes Josh Jacobs like a mid-round RB2 type of pick. Probably limited upside, but I think he's going to be a solid pick, and I have no problems drafting him around ADP or at value. I think it's actually a decent pick. And the other interesting thing is it does really look, even though I would say Zamir White and Kenyon Drake were running close in practice, to me it looked like the team is definitely fast-tracking Zamir White to be the number 2 running back on the Las Vegas Raiders.